Welcome to the Fear and Greed Afternoon Report for Monday, the 3rd of July, 2023. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon, we've got the 5 stories that happened today that you need to know about. Story number 1, it was a pretty solid result for the first trading day of the new financial year. The S&P ASX 200 finished up 0.6% today to 7,246 points. The top sectors were consumer discretionary and materials. Wesfarmers was among the best of the large caps, jumping 1.4%. Aristocrat Leisure and Santos also ended up more than 1%. The gold stocks were also higher, with leader Newcrest Mining and number 2 player Northern Star Resources both up around 3%. Tech stocks weren't popular, and in fact, WiseTech Global fell 3.2%, the worst of the top 200 today. Other tech stocks to go backwards included REA and Xero. Healthcare companies also suffered. CSL closed down 0.3%. In corporate news, Downer EDI's shares added 2.7% after it said it had won a $540 million contract to maintain roads for Hamilton City Council in New Zealand. And winemaker Australian Vintage surged 9% following news that it had hired a strategy firm to have a look at what it's doing. Story number 2, former PwC Chief Executive Officer Tom Seymour is among 8 veteran partners, including the ex-chair, Chief Risk Officer and Head of Government, who were involved in the firm's tax leak scandal or helped cover it up and are being removed from their roles. It takes the number of partners who have been forced out because of the crisis to 12. Those going or in the process of going include Mr. Seymour and 3 former members of the firm's executive. The forced exits are the results of an investigation by the company into the scandal, which involved PwC partners using confidential government information to help US tech giants sidestep tax laws that a PwC partner was helping the government design. The matter has triggered an Australian Federal Police inquiry and 3 other parliamentary inquiries. The AFP has not identified any individuals beyond former PwC tax partner Peter Collins as being under investigation. Story number 3, the ASX got a new company today, Redox. It's a chemicals and ingredients distributor with revenue of $1.3 billion and a profit of about $100 million a year. It's the first 100 million plus raising since the middle of last year. That's quite a drought. And the first $1 billion plus listing since the end of last year. Now, it's been a family company for nearly 60 years, and the current chief executive is the grandson of the founder. It came onto the bourse this morning worth about $402 million with the float price at $2.55 a share. The first trade was at $2.51. 2 hours later, it was $2.44. Not a good start for one of the most anticipated listings so far this year. Story number 4. United Malt Group has agreed to a $1.5 billion takeover from French malt giant Malteries Soufflet, sending United's share price up 9%. United is the world's 4th largest maltster and a major supplier of malt ingredients to the beer, craft beer and whiskey industries. But it's had a rough trot, including a profit downgrade in April this year. That wasn't enough to dissuade Malteries Soufflet, and the United Malt Board has unanimously recommended the bid. The downgrade was driven by drinkers lowering their beer consumption. Malteries Soufflet first approached United Malt late last year with an indicative offer of $4.15 per share. Eventually, they got acceptance at $5 a share. And story number 5, riots in France continue, with hundreds of public buildings across the country having been ransacked. President Emmanuel Macron is due to meet 220 French mayors tonight to discuss the situation in their regions. About 45,000 police remain on duty trying to quell any violence that erupts. The violence was sparked by the police shooting of a 17-year-old boy a week ago. The boy's grandmother yesterday appealed for calm and said rioters were using her grandson's death as a pretext. Some of the most violent clashes have happened in the port city of Marseille, which Macron visited last week to pledge help for community projects. There have been more than 2,000 arrests so far. That's it for the afternoon report for Monday, the 3rd of July, 2023. Don't forget to hit follow on the podcast and find Fear and Greed on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Join Michael Thompson and I tomorrow morning for the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed, the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.